Also, we need to put this to bed. We've got to put this to bed. This whole idea of Julio Jones being traded. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that, oh my gosh, this Julio Jones rumor, is this true? No, it's not true. There's nothing behind the idea that the Atlanta Falcons are actually currently trying to trade Julio Jones. I live in Atlanta. I know these things. Trust me, they are not trading for Julio Jones, nor are the Falcons trying to go ahead and get rid of Julio Jones. And also, if the Eagles were to even sniff Julio Jones, you realize it would take multiple first-round draft picks, right? Like, you do realize it would take multiple first-round draft picks to go ahead and acquire. The Eagles are not going to do that. We're not that desperate for a wide receiver. Why would you trade for Julio Jones, who's aging, by the way? He is 32 years old. He's not the young Julio Jones that he once was. Still a great player, but not one of the... He's not 29 years old. Why would you trade away multiple first-round draft picks, your future, instead of just going ahead and taking a really good receiver at number 21 overall? Denzel Mims out of Baylor is the exact same size, if not 5 pounds heavier than Julio Jones, and had identical combine numbers to Julio. Let me say that again. Identical. Everything. The 40 was identical. The 6-cone, the 3-cone shuttle was identical. His broad jump, his high jump, it was all the same. So I'm not saying he's going to become Julio Jones, but this whole idea of, oh, well, you know, we need to get Julio Jones, we trade away our future, just doesn't make any sense. The Eagles will not be trading for Julio Jones. It's a fun rumor that people here on other channels want to go ahead and you know, get views on. It's not going to happen. Even if there was a legitimate sourcing behind this saying, Jason Lockenfor has reported, even if they're sniffing it out, they're not going to do it. Philadelphia's not that dumb. Howie Roseman's not that dumb. There's a reason why Howie Roseman has not spent a ton of money in free agency. He's made some great moves in Hargraves and Slay, but he's not going to go ahead and just mortgage away the future for an aging superstar wide receiver. And plus, Atlanta is not going to do that. And finally, we're not going to trade Zach Ertz to go ahead and do that either. That would be the dumbest move ever, despite how well Dallas Goedert played last year. Get Julio Jones out of your mind right now. It makes no sense. Okay, let me read some more comments here, and then we'll keep going. Let's see. I want to move up maybe 10, 13, grab one of the premier receivers, says Michael Shaw. Yeah, I agree. We just talked about that. Yes, I would give up a first-round pick for him. That must be talking about Yannick. Would love Mims in Philly. I would too. I covered Denzel Mims while I was at Baylor. I've seen him up in person. I've watched his practices. He's as good as advertised. If Denzel Mims becomes a Philadelphia Eagle, I'll be absolutely stoked. I think the Eagles, are missing a lot of opportunities. No, we'll talk about that in a second. Someone said, no thanks, Jason Babin 2 for Yannick. That's not true at all. Let's see, what about Eric Reed? Potentially Eric Reed, although he's a little bit older. Todd Gurley could replace Jordan Howard, right? We'll talk about that in a second. Let's see, which top wide receiver actually an option via trade? What about Gurley? Hell no, Gurley. We need Carson Wentz. Okay, moving on here. Odell went from a 1 first-round pick and a player. Yeah, but the problem is Julio Jones better than Odell Beckham Jr. Trust me, Julio Jones will cost more than Odell Beckham Jr. There's no way in hell that we could get Julio Jones for the same price or cheaper than Odell Beckham Jr. You gotta remember, Julio Jones is an established superstar wide receiver. Odell Beckham gets injured a lot, and Julio's kind of injured, but not as much. And Julio Jones doesn't run his mouth like Odell Beckham Jr. is. The great part about Julio Jones is that he is not a me-first wide receiver. He's an elite receiver who's a team player, who's the best receiver in the National Football League besides DeAndre Hopkins, who the Eagles should have traded for, but for whatever reason they did not. I wouldn't even think about it. Carlos says Sanders or Robbie Anderson, but for me it's a no on Clowney or Yannick. I would take Clowney over Yannick because you don't have to trade for Jadeveon Clowney. Jadeveon Clowney's, you just pay him money. You don't have to give away draft picks to go ahead and get him. I don't want Emmanuel Sanders or Robbie Anderson. I think we stay at 21. We take the best receiver available. I want a young, cheap wide receiver that's going to be good for many, many years that we don't have to pay a ton of money to. That's what I want to do right now in Philadelphia. Other questions says, hell no to Gurley. We need Ruggs. How about linebacker options? LOL, the chat wants to know. Well, your linebacker options in free agency are basically gone. The majority of them have been signed, and we've talked about it in the NFL draft. Isaiah Simmons is going to be a top 10 pick out of Clemson. And then you have Kenneth Murray, who's probably going to be a top 15, top 20 pick. So maybe Murray will be there at number 21 overall. But do you want to spend that on a linebacker instead of a wide receiver? That one has got to be up to you in terms of what happens with that one. Moving on. There was a question asked regarding, are the Philadelphia Eagles missing out on opportunities? They didn't get Byron Jones. They didn't get Chris Harris Jr. They didn't get James Bradbury. Obviously, they haven't done anything with wide receivers. They have not made a ton of moves this free agency, despite the fact they had nearly $50 million in free cap space. I want to stress this to everybody out there who's freaking out that we are not going to go ahead and that we've not been busy in free agency. Don't worry about it. most teams who go buck wild in free agency don't play well. Remember the Vince Young year in Philadelphia when we got all these great players and we Cullen Jenkins out of Green Bay, and then of course we got I'm trying to remember who else was taken that year. Remember that year? Ton of free agents. The Eagles weren't very good. Good football teams make limited moves in free agency. Now the Eagles did a great trade for Darius Slay. That was a need. They needed Darius Slay. Even Yannick would be a good move overall, but getting Hargrave and getting Slay and stopping there, besides maybe like Rashad Perryman for a cheap one-year prove-it deal out of Tampa Bay, the wide receiver, that to me is enough. You have 8 draft picks this year. You can go ahead and really bolster the holes that you have left. The deal is that the Eagles don't have a lot of holes. Like, the Eagles do not have a lot of holes overall on their team. Now, do they need a linebacker? Yes. Do they need a safety? Well, if you move Malcolm Jenkins back, or if you move Jalen Mills back there, then no, you don't need a safety. Do they need an offensive lineman? Well, no, we expect Andre Dillard to be the starting left tackle. They don't need a running back. They just need a wide receiver and a linebacker right now, and you can get both of those in the draft later on and hope that they stick. You got to remember, Jordan Matthews was a third-round draft pick of the Philadelphia Eagles out of Texas. Jordan Hicks out of Texas, the linebacker. Despite injuries, played very, very well, and then the Cardinals gave him a massive deal in the offseason. The Eagles did not want to match. So there's a lot of things to go ahead and consider whenever we're talking about drafting players versus signing players. I want to stress to you guys, do not worry about the idea the Eagles are missing out on players. They might have just gotten the best cornerback in the NFC now because they have traded for Darius Slay. Like, they might have the best cornerback overall. They miss out on Byron Jones, yes, and I wanted Byron Jones, but Slay has 12 more career interceptions than Byron Jones. Like, Byron Jones has 2 career interceptions. Slay's got, 14, 16, whatever it is. He has way more. He's more of a ball hawk. He's more the Asante Samuel press man covers that we loved having in the in the early 2010s time, that balled out. I mean, he was one of the best Eagle corners of my lifetime, and yet we had really good ones in terms of Sheldon Brown and Lito Shepherd as well. All right, question time. Before we move on to Todd Gurley, we're going to be alive for another 15 minutes. Give me some questions right now. Should we forget about getting a top wide receiver this season? No, because you can get one in the NFL draft. Let's see. Would you want the Eagles to re-sign Aguilar on a one-year team-friendly prove-it deal? That's Adam Schefter asked that. Okay. No, I'm tired of Nelson Aguilar. I don't want Nelson Aguilar. Mike Thomas is the best receiver. Don't sleep on that dude. Yeah, I mean, he is. He's really, really good, but there are a bunch of great receivers. You kind of just got to pick whatever one you guys think is the best. Okay, before we keep answering questions, if you are watching this video, there are 88 of you watching right now and only 19 likes. Everybody go hit the like button right now. That way we can bump this up on YouTube and get more views. Okay, 88 of you. I want to see these likes start going up, all right? I'm going to wait to do comments until we start seeing likes. I'm drinking some water out of my cup. Come on. There's one. That needs to get to at least 50 likes right now before we keep going on, because we got 84 viewers and only 20 likes. Come on, bump up the likes. Come on, I'm going to get a drink. Go ahead. Bump them up. I'm going to keep reading your questions. I'll answer them here. Let's see. Come on, bump up those likes. It's just right above the screen. It's right below the screen. Click the like button. We'll get this one up to hopefully 50 or 60 likes. There we go. There you guys go. I appreciate that. That helps out the channel a bunch. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click the red subscribe button, because we're approaching 6,000 subs here on the Eagles Report, and I greatly appreciate you guys, subscribing and hanging out. Okay, more questions because you guys are liking the video. I appreciate that. What about Grant Delpit if we trade up? Andrew, we're not going to have to trade up. Number 21 overall would be enough to go ahead and take Grant Delpit. The question is, do you want to take him over a wide receiver? Do you think Rasul should be playing safety instead of Mills? No, I think that they have decided, and I'm not an expert on this, I think they decided that Jalen Mills is going to be their safety to fill in for Malcolm Jenkins, or they would not have really let Malcolm Jenkins go. So I think Rasul Douglas is going to be playing cornerback, whether that's starting opposite of Darius Slay or being a backup. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. Let's see. Okay, Mills popped off at LSU. Grant Delpit or Isaiah Simmons if we trade up. I would trade up for Isaiah Simmons over Grant Delpit. What about Logan Ryan? I would like Logan Ryan, but don't be surprised if Tampa Bay makes a move at Logan Ryan, because he was a former teammate of Tom Brady, and of course Brady's going to Tampa, and so, it makes more sense right there. I think we need to get Clay Matthews. No, Clay Matthews is ancient. Do not sign Clay Matthews. He's too old. We packaged Barnett and a pick. Would you support that for Yannick? Yes, I would, as long as we're not giving away a first-round draft pick. Ideally, you would keep Barnett along with Yannick. That way, because Brandon Graham's not going to be there forever. But yes, I would do that trade. If it was like a third and Barnett for Yannick, I would definitely do that. I feel like I'm taking an online class on how to be an NFL GM. Good. That's how it should be. I'm trying to be your NFL I'm trying to be your GM expert here. I'm gonna move my camera down a little bit. Maybe we can keep going. Let's see. Would Logan Ryan be a good pickup? Yes, I just said he would be a great pickup, but I don't know if we want to go ahead and get 2 free agent cornerbacks. Maybe one might just be good enough. What about Clay Matthews? Got cut today by the Rams. No, and Clay Matthews is an outside linebacker in a pass-rushing 3-4. We are 4-3, meaning we need a true outside linebacker who can cover as well. That's what your outside linebackers need to do, just like Michael Kendricks. Clay Matthews is a 3-4, hand-on-the-ground pass rusher who plays outside linebacker like Von Miller plays outside linebacker, even though Miller, of course, rushes the passer. So, no. Ertz for Yannick? No, not at all. 0% chance I would do that. That is a dumb question right there. Will McLeod play strong safety? No, McLeod will keep playing the free safety. Chris Harris Jr. alongside Slay. Chris Harris Jr. is just signed with the Chargers, so no, we can't do that. What will McLeod's role be? He will stay as the free safety. Where are we at on Alshon Jeffrey? Roy, I don't know. They haven't said anything about Alshon Jeffrey. Maybe we package him and send him down to the Jaguars for Yannick. I'd be fine with that. All right? I mean, you get rid of all his money. We no more dead cap hit. That'd be great. But again, the odds of that happening are very, very unlikely. Okay. Did you like that video? Thanks for watching, but why don't you click this video right here, because we did it just a couple of days ago, and guess what? It's about the Eagles too. Like that video? Why don't you subscribe right down here? That way you're notified whenever we release more videos here on the Eagles Report. It's the fastest growing Eagles channel here on YouTube. Video, subscribe, click them right now. Go ahead, click them.